It's going. Cool. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Andrew from Elements. I'm here with Tim Mohr, who'll be running a meditation workshop in the coming weeks and some free sessions. So doing a little interview to get a taste of where Tim's come from, some of the misconceptions about meditation, and wherever else we get into. So welcome, Tim. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Nice being here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So perhaps I'll start to get everyone a taste of you, like a bird's eye view of where you've come from on your meditation journey and your journey of teaching, and what brought you up to this point.
Well, first of all, I stumbled into it. I haven't been raised this way. I was just a regular workaholic, normal business guy doing my thing. But a few years later, I found myself married with a couple of kids, and I thoroughly enjoyed being Mr. Mom. My wife went to work, so I was Mr. Mom, and I thought it was the best job in the world. So part of the best job in the world was, and this is the moment where I kind of got shook up, is the one night when I put my son to bed, 7 years old, and my intention, I remember, was for him to tuck him in, right? It was supposed to be a special moment. This is the end of the day. This is when you spend some quality time together. And I was doing that, and in the midst of that, he all of a sudden said, "Daddy, it's okay, you can go." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm asking him, "What do you mean I can go?" And he says, "Well, because you've already left." So I was stunned and didn't quite know what was happening. So I finished up tugging him, went outside, and then something new happened that never happened to me before, is that I started looking at myself rather than just disregarding what he had said. I kind of like stopped and started doing this, what I now know is a certain kind of looking. I looked at myself with a certain kind of curiosity to get a sense of, could he possibly be right? And then a second thing happened, then all of a sudden it came to me that yes, I had not been there anymore. I literally, in my mind, physically I was there, but mentally it had already left, and I was doing dishes and I was doing whatever chores I had to do that evening. And that was my sobering moment, because at that moment I realized that despite my intention of giving him quality, some part of me wasn't there to give him everything that he wanted. And he was sensitive enough to pick this up. And that led to me, first of all, understanding that, there's many things to understand, but what happened to me is that from that day forward, I wanted to understand how this works. How come my mind went somewhere else and I didn't know what happens. And shortly I figured out that I didn't have the tools to figure out what was happening. I stumbled onto meditation, right? And I hadn't meditated, I hadn't done any of this stuff early on, but here I was ready. So I signed on, became a student with meditation, then I went a step further, become an instructor, and have been using this tool of being able to go to alpha, which means that you train your mind to get into this different way of being, where you start looking at yourself and getting a different sense of yourself, a different perspective on yourself in any life situation. So this is what I call going to alpha. It's a special kind of, and it's a very natural thing. This is what we do when we go to sleep. Then we close our eyes. We go into a light sleep, which is alpha, and then we go deeper and we come up to it. So alpha is something that we have access to all the time, but we don't know it. We don't know this particular area. So that's a long story of how I got started.
Very neat. And so you've taught workshops all over, and you also done work with animals.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's right. So my family environment, especially my kids being sensitive, and then parallel to that, interesting, I was training to do natural horsemanship, which I then overstepped because my horses, similar to my kids, taught me to be more perceptive, be more sensitive. And they made me a horse whisperer. Because horses are present all the time. They don't have this mind where we're scattered mentally, we're multitasking, we're doing many different things at the same time, they are present at all times. What that relates to is that present is, it's got to be something, right? Because if my son was capable, not consciously, but just something kids might do or sensitive people do, actually everybody does it, but very few can actually verbalize this. He sensed that there was part of me missing. This missing, it's got to be something, right? Because he's not a mind reader. He doesn't know what my mind is doing. He cannot tell me what I'm thinking. Yet he, and horses do the same thing, and most animals do it, they sense that there is part of us missing. This part, you can call it energy, you can call it whatever. This part, if it's there, it's powerful, because then we are present and we are actually. And if that's not there, then part of us is missing. So this is what I learned with the horse whispering, and then with my kids. And I started a teenager program where I had teenagers with any kind of challenges that needed a break from life. I would give them an environment for 3 to 6 months, and I would put them in this program where, well, similar to the horse program, they learned a whole bunch of things. But I also learned a whole box of tools, mental and emotional tools. A certain way to listen, a certain way to be, a certain way to... certain tools that I now regard as life skills that we don't have a chance to really pick up anywhere else. We're not taught about them in school. Our society doesn't tell us how to be. Well, they tell us how to be, but they tell us how to be in a certain way, but not in a way to be different or to be more. Mm-hmm. So what I do is with this initial, it's not initial, but yes it is, this initial opening with this workshop is to give people access to alpha. And 9 out of 10 will have this weekend, and they will get away with being relaxed and having this capability of using this on a daily basis. You're able to meditate. After this weekend, you have access to this natural thing, your brain functioning at alpha, which is most natural, but since we haven't practiced this, you don't have access to it. Most people have this. 9 out of 10, that's it, because they have. This is all they needed, all they wanted. And even that is life-changing. Like all my students, they're meditators, and they say they wouldn't want to be without it.
Yeah. Because
it's just such an essential element that you build into your life that once you have it, you're not going to give it up.
Yeah. I agree.
And then there's some that go way beyond that. They learn about the tools, the life skills. So there's much, much more to it.
I fully agree with the meditates. Once I learned to meditate, it was a game changer, and it's when the nights that I miss it, I feel like something's missing, it's been a big part of my life.
That's right. All my students said they got addicted to it, and it's like, oh, addicted, but this is just like saying you're addicted to breathing,
right?
Because it's like
just a part of you.
It's a natural thing that we have to have, and interesting enough, scientifically, we need alpha. And all the sleep problems and also the problems of not being able to take yourself out of gear is an inaccessibility to your own state of alpha.
Right.
So they know now, with all the biofeed technology that we have, they can measure what happens in your body under certain circumstances. And alpha is the most important state that your brain needs so you can function. So anxiety first and depression at a high level is when your brain goes in overdrive. And when under certain circumstances your brain might get stuck in overdrive. This is the opposite, not the opposite of alpha, but it's way above alpha. And in order to get out of there, you would have to go to alpha. This is what they're trying to do with medication, is to bring the brainwave frequency down again so you can function at the normal level. Right? So once you have access to alpha, and it's a conscious choice then, you literally, just like as a toddler, you have the conscious decisions you make steps. Once you learn how to meditate, you consciously can go there. Once you do that, you wouldn't want to live without it.
Yeah, you're walking. Yeah. looking back on my journey of meditation, it was a very confusing one, and there was a lot of misconceptions, and I was led maybe down a harder path of learning instead of actually learning the juice of things like when you meditate, you need to be completely still, like a Buddha statue or something like that. There should be no thoughts in your brain.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, all this. I don't know if it's dogma or misconception or whatever it is. What are some of the misconceptions that you run into when you see through your students and found yourself?
Right. So the weekend workshop, the meditation workshop that we'll be doing, is based on It's based on the same baseline. It's alpha.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get there, but it's being the way how we get there is completely different, because the mind is whatever it is. It is so we're not fighting the mind. We're actually using the mind, the faculties that the mind does. We're using them. So instead of making it go quiet, which is then exactly the opposite happen, we will put it to work. We will actually do something with the mind. So this is meditation for the active person with an active mind, where we go with it and start to direct it instead of trying to shut it down. Right? That again probably comes from the horse experiences too. As a horse whisperer, you don't have lines on the horse. You have to go with the horse till you have a connection, and then you bring the horse around. So there's no force, there's no nothing. The very same principle probably would apply for this workshop, where we use the active mind and we start cultivating it, we start directing it, so that you start having a relationship with it, because the mind will not go quiet. Most people that have meditated for years, they will say, my mind still chatters. The difference is that you learn how to dial it down. It goes in the background, because there's, and this is another thing that's the purpose of this meditation is to become intuitive. That we have access to information prior to what it is that one knows. There's much more out there. So we need the mind to give us information, but we need the cultivated mind, not the one that's just like non-stop, doesn't want to quit.
Right. Nice. Thinking back to some of the workshops you've run and the students you've worked with, what are some of the takeaways that you've seen students leave a weekend with, or leave once they've harnessed this ability to reach that alpha state of mind and change their relationship with their brain and their mind? What are some of the things you've witnessed?
Right. So the very first thing that almost everybody experiences, and we hear this again and again, is this special sense of relaxation. And it's been described in numerous ways, like being wrapped in a blanket, and there is a huge buffer between oneself and what comes from the outside. This very new sense of relaxation that most people are foreign to. They don't have this relaxation anymore. There's a reason why that is, but this is the very first experience that a person has. Then, with that, certain other things happen. The very first thing that I hear a week later when people give me feedback, they say, I haven't slept that well in years. Right? Because alpha is such an important part of our sleep that if we don't have access to it anymore, there's some conditioning of the nervous system where we don't get into the alpha. Our sleeping pattern is just terrible. And from there it builds. So at the very, very minimum, a person gets the ability to put themselves in this relaxed state, which has numerous health benefits and numerous relationship benefits. And on top of that, you can build further. But at the very minimum is this relaxed state where a person becomes addicted to, because it just feels so good.
Yeah. And
from my perspective, doing it for so long and being a guide where I guide people through difficult life situations, I say, don't get stuck at relaxation. Yes, it's nice, but this is just the very beginning. After that, there's so much more that you can do with alpha. But yeah, not everybody goes, but it's good.
Yeah, that sounds great. Beauty. Okay, well, thank you, Tim. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to the workshop. It's
Me too.
yeah. What makes me excited about it is it's not. I've done many meditation weekends and workshops, and from what I brought from you, it's not so much about just getting the workshops I've done are just about quieting the mind, getting still, sits, lots and lots and lots of seated practice. And this is more about finding the mind and using it as a friend, as a tool, as a companion, and almost like you're building muscles and capabilities with it instead of just getting it silent. Right?
Absolutely. So this being a guided meditation, right? Because I will guide your mind, I will guide you. The very first thing that I said at the beginning is move. If you have to move, move your body. So it's exactly the opposite, where it's like, don't move. So no. If something feels funny, just move it. If you have a scratch, just scratch.
Yeah.
Because this is not this. See, you sitting silently, or the meditator sitting silently. This happens way later. This happens when everything has settled into place. Then that happens. But you cannot make this a prerequisite, because exactly the opposite happens. Because if you have an itch somewhere, this itch will drive you up the wall, right? And that is not getting into alpha. This is actually getting into beta. Right?
Okay, interesting.
But we can do this for hours.
Oh yeah,
and hours,
okay.
So let's keep it short.
We'll keep it going. Okay, thank you, Tim. I'm looking forward to it. So the workshop is the 6th and 7th of May. Yeah, I'm very excited.
And important maybe to say is that we have 2 Mondays prior to the workshop.
Yes, they are the 21st and the 1st, where we're
21st of April and the 1st of May.
Well, you'll be leading us through and giving us a good taste.
That's right. So we'll do the center part of this weekend workshop, where I give you a taste what it feels like going to alpha. So with that, then it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. Because other than that, going to alpha is Chinese if you have never been there.
Yeah.
So them introductory workshops are for participants, interested people to have more questions about meditation in general. And then we actually do a 30-minute meditation session, which is going to be the baseline of the weekend.
Right, actually good. Yeah, because really everything we're saying means nothing unless you've experienced it, felt it, right?
Exactly. So the best way to do is just come in for this introduction, and if you like it, great. If you don't, then good. But at least you know what you're getting yourself into before the weekend.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Tim. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Beauty. There we go.
Cool.